With the recent release of Toy Story 5, Justin has requested me on Patreon to go back to the beginning and review the very first Toy Story. This is a remarkable achievement in computer animation and an excellent first feature from Pixar. I saw this film in original release and was immediately blown away by the visuals, but I also really got into the characters and the dynamic between Woody and Buzz Lightyear. So what is it about Toy Story that makes it such a brilliant film? I think making it a buddy movie about a mismatched pair forced together was a smart choice. It led to the filmmakers concentrating on the characters and making sure they were interesting enough to follow. John Lasseter and everyone else at Pixar knew the technology could only impress for so long, and they need to make the audience attached to these toys. The idea of toys come to life when we're not around is an intriguing idea, and what I like is the movie respects the audience enough to accept this reality. We're not told any reason why the toys can come to life. We see Woody get up and start talking and immediately accept the premise. Speaking of Woody, they had to strike a particularly careful balance with him. He's the main character, but he's frequently depicted as jealous towards Buzz and making demeaning remarks towards him. Part of his arc is learning to accept that Andy also loves this other toy, although his frustration and Buzz's delusion is understandable. Anyone familiar with the making of Toy Story will know about an early script where Woody was a lot more unlikable, with him making cutting remarks to the other toys and not showing any remorse when Buzz falls out the window. Even Tom Hanks was confused reading his lines and wondered why anyone in the audience would want to root for Woody. Watching the story reel, they basically turned Woody into a dictator, and the personalities of the other characters are also different than what we saw in the finished film. Thankfully, they found a way to highlight Woody's flaws and make us hope he can resolve his issues with Buzz. Buzz thinking he's a real space ranger and showing his dedication to saving the galaxy is also handled in a funny way. It's a fun contrast to Woody so desperately trying to prove him otherwise. And when Buzz finds out he actually is a toy, the animators did a superb job of showing his disappointment with just his facial expressions, while Randy Newman sings about it in the background. This is just a really smart script with a lot of clever lines, whether Woody's sarcastic comments to Buzz, or even the way the toy's morning routine is structured like a staff meeting. The lines even help give personalities to the minor toys in Andy's room, and it really adds to the sense of community there. I actually find one of the most interesting elements of the movie is Sid. He's obviously a troublemaker with the way he messes with his sister and how he acts at Pizza Planet, and from the point of view of the toys, he's someone that understandably scared of. On the other hand, he does show a lot of creativity of how he takes apart and reconstructs these toys. Maybe he's working through something with these creations, but he does seem to put some thought into them. It's not like he knows the toys are sentient, and I do wonder what happened to Sid in the years between him finding out toys are alive and his reappearance in Toy Story 3. Then there are the set pieces, which are exceptionally well put together. From the toy soldiers bringing the baby monitor downstairs, to Buzz and Woody encountering the Triclops aliens in the claw machine, to the escape from Sid's house, John Lasseter and the rest of the team at Pixar gave them the right level of excitement and show how toys move around their environments when people are not looking. I especially love the climax of Toy Story, as Woody and Buzz race to get to Andy. This sequence mixes thrills, humor, and great character moments, and led to one of the most iconic scenes in Pixar history. I'm of course referring to the falling with style scene. When the music hits and they go soaring, it really shows how much the friendship has grown since Woody and Buzz first met and Woody was mocking him. It's also Buzz realizing that just because he's a toy does not mean he cannot be heroic and be a space ranger. He's just helping his friends and making Andy happy instead of trying to stop Emperor Zurg. That's an example of just what a well-constructed screenplay this is. I think the music is also pivotal to the success of Toy Story. Randy Newman composed an excellent score, highlighting how good he is at writing both sentimental themes and fast-paced, exciting pieces. One composition that's always stuck with me is On the Move, which is the piece that plays when Woody and Sid's toys execute their plan. The song's also classics for a reason. This came from a note by Disney, who wanted songs in the movie because, well, most of the other anime movies have songs. But it's a note that led to such classic tunes as You've Got a Friend in Me and Strange Things. I know people see the animation as dated because of how much computer animation has evolved since the release of Toy Story. However, I still find a lot of charm in the film's animation. While they were experimenting this way, bringing characters to life, the animators at Pixar still learned a lot from the hand-drawn masters for the expressions and physicality. Woody especially has a lot of humor, some perfectly chosen reactions to Buzz, and they nicely fit with Tom Hanks' vocal performance. With a lot of great subtle animation choices that make me smile. The use of the camera is also clever as we see this world entirely from the point of view of the toys. And then there are the different environments, which are wonderfully realized. Pizza Planet is filled with all kinds of games that children would absolutely like to play, while Andy's house has an inviting quality to it. Meanwhile, Sid's house has a grungy appearance that has long stood out to me. Toy Story is a movie I watched so much in my childhood, and then again years later, that I practically know the whole thing by heart. And yet the film has never lost anything of what made it special, and I continue to marvel at a new detail I notice on each viewing. It occupies an important place in film history, while also being highly entertaining in its own right, and a fantastic way to start what will be an amazing run of movies for this franchise. I probably should not have to ask if you've seen Toy Story, because come on. So let me know in the comments what stands out about this film to you, and thanks for the quest, Justin.